In this space race that is each camera brand trying to one-up each other on an annual basis to create the perfect hybrid camera, all cameras kind of converging to this hybrid photo video beast that would be perfect if I was shooting corporate events. But we're on the street, man.
Now when you see us in the street, all I want to do is take pics and I'm like, okay.
Out here in the concrete jungle, crushed under the unwavering inner city pressure, we don't want something big and expensive with a big sensor. We want something small, discreet, easy on the wallet, and also that has a unique advantage for street photography. One specific category of cameras fits this bill perfectly, and these are micro Four Thirds mount cameras. With smaller sensors than full frame cameras or even APS-C cameras, these cameras can become exceptionally small, especially when paired with these little micro Four Thirds mount lenses.
It's just tiny and fits right in, fits right in.
The first time you shoot with a micro Four Thirds mount camera, you will notice something different about your images, and that is the aspect ratio. Unlike full frame cameras, these do not have a 3:2 sensor, instead they have a 4:3 aspect ratio sensor. This means that if you want to use the full width of the sensor, then your in-camera compositions are going to be much taller than if you were shooting on a full frame camera or APS-C camera. Another difference here is that due to the size of this sensor, it can be more difficult to create shallow depth of field images, which can be seen as a disadvantage. But actually for street photography, this is this camera and all other micro Four Thirds mount cameras' unique advantage. Before we move on, I just wanted to take a quick second to talk about this magnetic filter system I've been using lately from K&F Concept. It's actually a combination of a few different filters. You get a variable ND, a circular polarizer, and black diffusion, which is very convenient because it covers almost everything I need for softened photos and videos. The main thing here is the magnets. You can stack them or swap them out in literally 1 second, which is much faster than messing around with traditional screw-ons. The cool part for me is the black diffusion 1/4 strength. It just gives that nice, soft, cinematic look. It can smooth out skin without making it look fake, and gives your highlights a subtle glow. The case is also pretty solid. It's got a waterproof zip and magnetic flap, and you can easily clip it onto your bag. So if you're in the market for a variable ND, polarizer, and black diffusion filter that snap together like this, then this kit could be for you. You can find a link in the description below to check it out. I apologise in advance for how boring the words are that I'm about to say, but I promise this is important. Much like when we apply a 2x crop factor to the focal length of our micro Four Thirds mount lenses, the same can be applied to the aperture of these lenses. And I mean this specifically in terms of the depth of field effect that each of these apertures produces. As you can see in these images here, the depth of field from a 4/3 sensor at f5.6 has a much deeper depth of field than that of a 5.6 on a full frame sensor. So what happens if we actually open up our aperture on the 4/3 sensor to f2.8? This then has that crop factor of ×2, which makes that 2.8 a 5.6, and then you can see that 2.8 depth of field is equivalent to a full frame f5.6. I told you it'd be boring, but how can this be a good thing? While it might be harder to create a super shallow depth of field effect in your photography with these smaller sensors because of this aperture crop factor, it can actually have the opposite effect, which is good for us. If we're at 2.8, we get a nice and bright aperture, but our depth of field is equivalent to a 5.6 on full frame. And this means that it's much easier to create these deeper depth of field effects to be able to shoot layered street photos. And that is without you needing to go out and buy a new full frame camera with the latest lenses if you're just going to stop down to f8 or f11 anyway. You really don't need a full frame camera for street photography.
I don't need it. I don't need it. Definitely don't need it.
Quick one from me, if you're finding this video helpful, remember to give this video a like and subscribe to the channel. Costs you nothing, takes a second, and really helps out the channel. Now, the same way that a shallow depth of field doesn't instantly make your photos better, neither does a deep depth of field. Just because everything's in focus doesn't mean you've taken a good photo. So what are some quick tips to help you take better deep depth of field shots to create interesting layered images? The main idea here is to create layered shots with multiple elements in the foreground and background that speak to each other.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
This could look like framing your subject in the midground or background with something in the foreground, whether it's an opening in a door, something through a car door window, through a mirror tunnel, or even through a mirror hanging on a market store. Get creative and try and find different ways to kind of create frames within frames using your foreground. This is a nice, easy way to get started with layers. Or you could take a different approach, and this could be trying to layer subjects in the foreground and background that share complementary colours, like trying to find a nice block of green to be able to go against someone in blue and green in the background, or trying to find some nice blue and yellow contrast. Again, here you just want to get creative. Try and look out for certain colours that you're seeing a lot of that day, and then try to think what's the opposite on the colour wheel, and how can I find those opposite colours on the colour wheel in the foreground or background to make this subject pop much more. Every subject looks a lot better when it has something complementary in the environment to go with it, rather than just being a standalone subject. And if you like the colours you're seeing in these images, you can pick up my Kodak film stock presets, my Fujifilm film stock presets, or my Naturally Filmic presets. And you can save when you buy all three together in the 3-pack bundle, and viewers of this video can use this unique code to save an extra 20% at checkout. These are some of the best film simulation presets you can buy, and I use these in 100% of my images that you've seen in this video, on my Instagram, and on my website portfolio. So I'll drop a link in the description for you to check these out. To get the most out of the Micro Four Thirds mount system, there are a few different lenses that really work best for creating these deep depth of field layered images. And I have a couple of favourites that I want to mention to you. Sadly, this 17mm, it's passable, it's not great. There are better options. Personally, I like anything that has a 24mm full frame equivalent up to 40mm to be able to create these like layered images. And on Micro Four Thirds, we have various different options here. You can get a 12mm, a 14mm, a 17mm, or a 20mm. And there's also a 15mm Leica in there somewhere as well. And all of these lenses can be bought reasonably cheap when you compare them to APS-C mount lenses or full frame lenses. And they're very small, so you can carry around 2 or 3 of these lenses for the size of a full frame prime. Alternatively, if you just want to get something to kind of figure out which focal length you like, and you don't want to spend any money at all, you can pick up something like the 12 to 42 kit lenses that you can get for Lumix cameras on Micro Four Thirds mount. These go for peanuts, and they will really help you discover the mount, discover your focal lengths, and they can also achieve these nice deep depths of field. As for cameras, if you're looking for something to get started for no money at all, I recommend the camera in this video here. Or if you have slightly more budget, go check out this video here. Both of these are great options, it just really depends what you're into.